Welcome everybody to the University of Liverpool School of Psychology Applicant Discovery Day. My name is Professor Louise Almond and I'm the Postgraduate Study Lead here at the School of Psychology. We're very sorry that you weren't able to attend in person, but we hope that this virtual talk will help you and be informative to help you with your understanding about Liverpool and the programme that we offer here. I myself came to Liverpool to study my undergraduate degree back in 1997. The reason being that from the age of 15, I've known always what I wanted to do. You won't remember because you'll be too young, but your parents will remember a very famous program called Cracker. And Cracker was the biggest TV program of its time. And at that time, that's when I decided, when I was 15, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an offender profiler. And at the time, there was only one place in the world where you could study offender profiling as a master's degree, and that was Liverpool. So I came here to study my psychology degree here at Liverpool. I then went on to do the master's in investigative psychology. I did my PhD and now I run that master's program. So I've gone full circle in my interests, in my studying, and now in my professional life. So as you can see, I'm very passionate about Liverpool, the city, the university, and the programs that we offer. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit now about Liverpool. Liverpool is a Russell Group university. And what does that mean? That means that we specialise in research. We're very strong on research and we have leading subject experts in many different fields. Every so often, all universities are ranked in terms of their research, and this is called the REF. In 2014, which was the last REF, 81% of our research was rated as world leading and internationally excellent. As I said before, this was one of the reasons why I came to Liverpool, was the world-renowned, internationally excellent research that was being done. Psychology is ranked 13th in the UK in terms of research impact. And for me, that was really important. I wanted to do psychology which had real world implications. And that's what we mean by research impact. What is the impact of the research that we're having on the real world, on helping vulnerable populations, in terms of new drug development, in terms of new theories and how they are applied in the real world? As a result of our research impact and the applied nature of the work at Liverpool, there are a large number of industry connections that we have, be that with the NHS, with the Ministry of Defence, with other range of public health, industry partners and connections. And what that means is that Liverpool has cutting edge facilities. We have various labs that you would have been able to see had you come to visit us today, but unfortunately, this will have to be done online instead. And what this means is that we have a great environment for your projects, and the projects make up the capstone of your program, your bachelor's program. And because of the facilities that we have and the connections that we have, and the fact that our researchers are leading experts, this is a great environment for producing exciting third-year research projects. The university itself is very friendly, supportive and inspiring. We have an award-winning careers and employability support service, which can be accessed not just while you're here studying at Liverpool, but also once you've graduated for many years afterwards. They help with advice around career pathways, as well as specific advice around CVs, around how to do assessment centres and interview techniques. We also have at the university lots of extracurricular activities, like lots of life opportunities. It's not just about the academic side of life, but also what else can you get whilst you're studying at the university. We have excellent sports facilities and many sports and activities clubs that you can join. And we have a specific service called Liverpool Life, where students can access the information about what is available and what activities, clubs, interests and pastimes people can take up as part of their extracurricular learning. Here at Liverpool as well, we're very keen on students volunteering and giving back to the community and being a benefit, not just to the university, but also to the wider city. The city itself, Liverpool, is the fastest growing city outside London, and it's incredibly safe. We have a fantastic student community, which has about 50,000 students across the 3 different universities. And that means that the city is very geared up towards students. It means that we have great student discounts and student offers in many of the bars and restaurants. There is always something going on in Liverpool. There is always free events, such as you may have seen the puppets on the news when we have the huge puppets come through Liverpool. Of course, we have the famous football teams of Liverpool and Everton, great sports team, a lot of venues, music venues and bands, and many of the galleries and museums are free and have world-class, internationally renowned exhibitions which you can go and see. So what is psychology, and what sort of things will you be studying if you decided to come to the University of Liverpool? Many of you listening will be doing psychology, either will have done it as GCSE or as an A-level, but some of you may not. So I'm just going to talk through the broad areas of psychology to give an explanation for those who may not be as aware of what psychology is and what makes up a psychology degree. The first area I'll talk about is cognitive psychology. Now, cognitive psychology is the scientific study of the mind as an information processor. So what cognitive psychologists are trying to do is build up cognitive models of the information processing that goes on inside our minds. So, for example, how we perceive things, our attention, our memory for different events, and also decision making. So an example of some of the leading research done in this area is around critical incident decision making. So we have researchers here at Liverpool who specialise in how to make good decisions during a critical incident, be that a terrorist attack or a natural disaster. So our researchers work with emergency response and multi-agency teams to work out how they can best learn from previous events in terms of good practice and put communication lines and good practice in place to aid when we have a critical incident in the UK. Another area of specialism in psychology is social psychology. And this is the scientific study of how people's thoughts, feelings, or behaviours are influenced by the actual, imagined, or implied presence of others. An example of the research done here at Liverpool is we have a mock-up of a bar. So some of the research done in psychology is around alcohol and how the behaviour of the presence of other people influences drinking behaviour. And this is often done in a very artificial environment. But here at Liverpool, we have a mock-up of an actual pub. Unfortunately, you would have been able to see it had you come today, but take it from me, it's a great environment, a great facility. It looks like a bar, it has the pumps, it has the tables, and it's a more realistic environment to study alcohol and how the influence of other people can affect our drinking behaviours, for example. The next area I'd like to talk about is developmental psychology. And this is the scientific approach to explain growth, change, and consistency throughout a person's lifespan. So a developmental psychologist looks at how we think, how we feel, and how behaviours change throughout a person's life. So we here at Liverpool, we have researchers that study the full lifespan. So we have a number of researchers that study child language development. So how do children learn language? How do they develop language? And how can we help parents to identify language barriers and also to improve language development? At the other end of the spectrum, we have a number of researchers who research into adult aging. A really important area of research with a growing aging population. Our researchers look at how our behaviours, our thoughts and our decisions are affected by older age. The next area is biological psychology. So psychology is made up of different areas, and the biological area is the scientific approach which aims to look at and explain how we change and how our feelings and behaviours change from a biological point of view. These individuals may study both animals and human behaviour. Examples of research done in this area at Liverpool use, for example, we have a body scanner. And this is a scanner which we put individuals through to measure body fat. So we can look at how the biology of potential, for example, obesity drugs affect people's body makeup, how their fat levels, for example. We also have EEG machines, and these measure brain activity. And some of the research done here at Liverpool looks at, for example, the effect of pain and how pain differs between people in terms of individual differences, but also on brain activity. What all of these areas have in common is the research methods and statistics. So psychology is a science subject. It does rely heavily on research methods and statistics to measure and test hypotheses that the researchers have. Running through all these areas, the examples I used would have conducted various types of research, be that correlational designs, it could be questionnaires, it could be observations, they could be doing experiments, for example. And then we conduct statistics to see whether our hypothesis is true or not. Underlying all of these experiments is research ethics, a key topic which is covered throughout the degree, a very important subset of what we study. Now, obviously, we understand for some people, especially the statistics side of things, it can make people very nervous. For some people, for example, for me, I love statistics, but I understand that not everybody feels the same way. So we put things in place during the degree to make sure that after the degree is completed and during your assessments, all people are able to complete these assessments and feel happy and confident in their statistical ability. So what is it specifically about Liverpool and studying psychology at Liverpool? So our vision is that we expose all our students to high impact, world-renowned research from day one. As I said before, this was the reason why I came to Liverpool. I wanted to go to where it was world-renowned for offender profiling research. I wanted to be taught by the individual that developed this area, Professor David Cantor, and I wanted to be involved in the research that he was conducting and to be taught the most up-to-date, relevant, contemporary research in the area that I was interested in. As I'm talked through, we have lots of different experts here at Liverpool, and these experts are the leading experts in their area, and the curriculum is therefore very research connected. We talk through not only the theoretical aspects of the research, but also the practical and impact, which I think is really important. And for me, the reason why Liverpool stood out. We also have a vision that due to the fact that we're exposing you to this high impact, world-renowned research, this will lead you to be highly skilled, highly knowledgeable graduates, ready for the 21st century, either graduate level employment or postgraduate training. If you want to go on to be a professional psychologist, be that educational psychologist, forensic psychologist, clinical psychologist, for example, you'll have to specialize at master's degree. We make sure that our students are ready to make that transition from undergraduate through to postgraduate training. Or it may be that after the degree, our students want to go straight into graduate level employment. Psychology is known as a very good transferable degree. So this means that we teach our students a large range of skills which become transferable to a large number of different career pathways. Through the Careers and Employability Service and also through the modules that we offer, we make sure that our students are ready and equipped to go straight into graduate level employment positions. In 2018-19, we implemented a very exciting new curriculum, which was embedded by those values that I just discussed before. The main degree, the BSc Psychology, is made up of 3 years of study. The first year is the core areas that I just talked through before, and these are the British Psychological Society core subject areas. You must make sure when selecting your psychology degree that it is accredited by the British Psychological Society, as Liverpool is. The reason for that is if you want to go on to be a professional psychologist and you need to specialise at master's degree, they will require you to have done an undergraduate degree which is accredited. So it's really important that when you're deciding where to go, you check that the degree that is offered is accredited by the BPS. And you can do that by searching on the BPS website. So the first year covers the core subject areas which were required for a degree to be accredited. The second year is where we narrow down the focus to the school's research themes. So this is the research themes which the department and school here at Liverpool is renowned for. The third year is then the specific research specialisms and expertise of our world-renowned researchers. In years 1 and 2, we have research-connected teaching. So this is where the experts in that area teach on their specific specialism. And we actively encourage the students to conduct research themselves and to explore and answer research questions. Throughout the curriculum, research methods and statistics are integrated. So this means that whilst you're studying the core discipline areas, cognitive, biological, social and developmental, you will also be studying research and statistics alongside. This will also demonstrate how the statistics are used and implemented in each of these key areas, as opposed to teaching research and statistics separately, which then means that it's very difficult to then join the two together. Psychology is a very popular subject, so we do have a lot of large class sizes, but we also have a large number of smaller and medium-sized activities. So in years 1 and 2, we have core content lectures. So this is where academic member of staff will teach the students about theories and practical theories and aspects which are relevant to that topic. So for example, in first year, you will learn about interpersonal behaviours and how people interact with each other and how that affects their own behaviour. So social interaction. We then have research-focused lectures, and for me, this is the exciting bit about the curriculum. These are given by research specialists, and it takes the theories that were discussed in the core content lectures and applies them to the real world. It shows how Liverpool researchers have taken those theories and conducted high-impact research. So using the example I just gave before around the lecture on social interaction, after the theoretical lecture, the same week, a professor from our department gives a lecture about how he has applied those theories to help the Homeland Security and FBI interview counter-terrorist suspects in a humane way. So it's how the research is focused and applied in the real world, which I think is really important and one of the key aspects of why I personally came to Liverpool and what I see as the main strength of the degree here at Liverpool. We then have smaller, medium-sized research seminars. And this is where the students work in medium-sized classes with an individual member of staff. And they work through a piece of research from the introduction, generating hypotheses, to the methods, learning about the different techniques of how you collect data and analyze it, moving on to how you analyze the data and report the findings, and then finally, the discussion around the implications for future research and practical implications. So these seminars are very interactive, and the member of staff facilitate group discussions and group work between the students. We also have small tutorial sizes. So this is around 7 or 8 students, and they are assigned a member of staff who's their academic advisor, who works with them for the full 3 years. These students are also placed together in each of the other sessions. So there's you will always be in your tutorial group for your seminars, for example, and for your practicals. So you have a small community of students who you are familiar with, and who will be your peer group. So as I've said, you have large core content lectures, large research focused lectures, which talk about research impact, and then research seminars, which are smaller group discussions, more workshop based. Your tutorials, as I've said, are much smaller classes, and this is where you work with an individual member of staff to conduct a piece of research as your small group. So in the first year, it's very much about the member of staff helping the students with an idea that the staff member has come up with. Then on to year 2, where the group have to come up with their own research question, design their own study, and write it up as a group. And all of this is getting the students ready for the year 3 research project, which is the biggest aspect of your degree. So what does year 1-2 look like in terms of the specific modules? So we have large modules. In year 1, for example, semester 1, you would cover developmental psychology and brain and cognition. In semester 2, you would study social psychology and individual differences and biological psychology. Across both semester 1 and 2 is research methods and statistics. As I've said, research methods and statistics is embedded in every module and runs across the whole of the degree. In year 2, we move on to the research themes of Liverpool. So in semester 1, this is clinical and forensic psychology. In semester 1, then we have psychobiology and motivation. In semester 2, we have lifespan development, health and well-being, and then cognition and cognitive neuroscience. Again, you can see research methods and statistics runs across the full year. In years 1 and 2, every module is mandatory. That means there is no selection. But year 3 is when we have optional modules. And we have one of the highest number of optional modules for a psychology degree in the UK, which cover a wide variety of areas, illustrating the number of research specialisms that we have here at Liverpool. And this is where active researchers in the field are teaching their specific specialism. And we have extremely high student satisfaction ratings for these modules. To give you some examples of the ones that are potentially available are appetite regulation and obesity. So we have, as I explained before, we have a body scanner. So we do a lot of research around eating, obesity, and how to reduce people's weight. We have forensic and investigative psychology. So as I've said, that was the reason why I came to Liverpool, for the investigative psychology specialism. We have modules on adult aging. So not just child language, which will be in semester 2, but also adult aging. We also have media psychology, which is a new module which has recently been offered, looking at how the media impacts on our behaviour, on our thoughts, and on each other. Other examples that are available are the psychology of pain, so how pain differs between individuals and is linked to different conditions. We have cyber psychology, which is looking at how computers interact with humans and artificial intelligence, for example. And we have a work placement. This is where students undertake a work placement as part of their degree and write reflections on their experiences for their career and for that job position. In year 3, as I've said, the research project is the exciting, the capstone part of your degree. And this is where you get to work with an individual member of staff to propose and test your own scientific ideas. We have a large number of project areas and supervisors available, and this allows you to customize your learning to fit your future plans. So you're able to select which area you're most interested in, and we'll see assigned a supervisor to come up with your own ideas and work with them on producing an empirical piece of research. In year 3, you may also consider transferring into our integrated master's programme, which looks at clinical and health psychology in year 4. So the integrated master's route is that at the end of year 3, you can decide you want to continue on to do into a master's in psychological science, clinical and health. We also have 2 master's programs, which you may be interested in, which you can continue after your year 3. One of them, of course, is the master's I've spoke about quite a lot, which is the MSc in investigative and forensic psychology, which looks at offender profiling and how psychologists can help emergency responders, for example. And we also have an MSc in research methods. So this is for individuals that wish to go on to research careers, be it as research assistants or go on to do PhD further study. A really important part of studying is not just the academic side of things, it's also the social and the student belongingness. And it's really important that students feel a part of the community here at Liverpool. So as a result, we have a number of social events. We have guest speakers who come in from other universities or from the workplace. We have quiz nights, we have film nights, we have talks in various social facilities. And most importantly, we have peer mentoring. So it's really, we have a lot of staff support for students, but we understand the importance of peer mentoring too. So every student, when they start their degree, is assigned a peer mentor. So that's someone who's in the year above, who they can go to for support and advice if they need it. We also recognise that for some students, the biology side of the degree may be more difficult if they hadn't studied biology at A-level. So we have a peer mentoring system which buddies up students who have done biology A-levels with students who haven't, to assist them. We also have peer mentoring for the statistics side, which again, some students may find they struggle with more than others. And we make sure that we are supporting students, not just with staff, but also with each other. So why should you come to Liverpool? Well, for me, what I think is the most important part of Liverpool and the most exciting part of our degree is the research-led teaching. The quality of the degree that we offer is a result of the high impact research and the internationally renowned researchers here at Liverpool. We've got research expertise in very important and popular areas: forensic psychology, clinical psychology, addiction, for example, and language development. All of these are really important in society and in the global world that we live in. We also have a lot of curricular and co-curricular activities. It's important to think about when you finish your degree, not just coming away with just the degree. You've got to think about what else can you be doing during your degree which is going to make you stand out from other students. And all the way through our degree, employability is embedded. So we have a number of curricular and co-curricular activities which will mean that it will make your CV stand out from other people when you're applying for your graduate jobs or you're applying for postgraduate studies. One of these is the research internship scheme. So in between year 2 and year 3, you can apply to be a research intern and work with one of these world-renowned researchers. We also have a study abroad scheme, and this is where you can study for a semester over in a linked university. We have a year in China scheme. So this is where you spend a whole year studying in China. As I said before, we have a large number of optional year 3 modules reflecting the wide research that we conduct, and also we would hope would feed into the interests that you have. It's really important when you're selecting which degree you want to go to that you go to a provider that has the researchers in the area that you are most interested in. Because this leads to exciting research projects. This leads to opportunities for you to get involved in research internship schemes, involved in conferences that are organising, and to work with individual members of staff. There is also the opportunity to go on to do the integrated clinical and health masters, and also our other postgraduate study programmes that we offer here at Liverpool. When we introduced the new curriculum in 2018, one of the really interesting and exciting things that we introduced were authentic assessments. And this is something which I have in my forensic masters and have had for some time, but it wasn't something that we did necessarily very well at undergrad until recently. Authentic assessments are pieces of work which relate to real world activities. So historically, we used to have lots of essays and lots of exams, but how well is that preparing our graduates for real world working and real world opportunities? It's very limited, because it's very unlikely that when we go to the world of work, our students will be asked to write an essay or to sit an exam. So what we've done is we've introduced authentic assessments into all of our modules. So these are assessments such as writing policy documents, producing research posters, writing educational blogs. So this is writing for different audiences, something that's really important for graduates to learn for when they go into the world of work. How to present their findings in accessible formats, not just for other academics, but also for the wider public. Here at Liverpool, we don't just provide summative feedback. Summative feedback is where the feedback is going towards, counts towards your degree. We also provide formative feedback. So this is information about how you can improve and better your grade, which doesn't count towards your final mark. So we provide a large number of different types of feedback. We also offer one-to-one feedback with the relevant markers and members of staff. We also provide training for professional employment. So along with the Careers and Employability Service, we have a large number of courses and activities that the students can get involved in, which will allow them to be ready for professional employment. As I said before, a psychology degree is known as a good transferable degree. And that's because the number of generic and transferable skills which we teach and we embed throughout the whole programme. Things such as time management, handling of data and statistics, different ways of presenting materials such as oral presentation skills as well as written presentation skills. How to organise a team, how to work as part of a team as well as an individual, how to organise a project from start to finish. Throughout the degree, we are working from day one on ensuring our graduates have strong analytical skills and an inquiring attitude, which will mean that they'll be excellent employees and will be successful in whatever career path they decide they wish to go on. As a result, over 90% of our students are in full-time employment or further study 6 months following graduation, displaying the focus that we have around employability throughout our degree and throughout the vision that we have for our students. We have a very nurturing environment. So this isn't just around the academic tutor, which an individual student is assigned to an individual member of staff for the 3 years that they are here with us. We also have peer mentors for the biology and the statistics, and also generally every student has an assigned peer mentor. We also recognise that for some individuals, they may have particular issues around exams, or it may be that their stress is around presenting. So we have stress busting workshops that students can attend to help them develop the skills in order to be ready for the workplace and deal with any specific anxieties or stresses they may have in a proactive and efficient way. We have an excellent disability support and counselling service here at Liverpool. We have dedicated disability support members of staff. We also have a dedicated learning and teaching support officer whose job it is to support the students in their teaching and their learning. We have an excellent student support office, and these individuals are highly experienced, very warm and friendly, and I wish that you would have had the opportunity to meet some of them, but unfortunately, due to COVID, we've not been able to. But take it from me, they're extremely friendly, lovely individuals who are able to solve problems quickly for our students and also for us staff. A key thing about Liverpool and our degree is the communication that we have. So each student year has a representative which is able to feedback any feedback, both positive and negative, of things that we need to change, things that we need to keep doing. We also have a newsletter. So this comes out every week, which condenses all the information that the students need to know about what activities are going on, what courses they can sign up for, what events are happening. So we are renowned at Liverpool for our communication with our students. As I said before, we are an accredited degree, and it's really important that you check that whatever degree that you're looking at is accredited by the British Psychological Society. We've invested recently in new staff appointments, which is exciting because of the new research specialisms that we're able to offer at third year, and also at projects, empirical projects in your third year. And if you were able to come and visit Liverpool, you would see the building work which is being done and the campus developments that are being built. But unfortunately, we have to do this virtually, so you'll have to just take my word for it. As I said before, we introduced a new curriculum in 2018 and 19, and that has been award-winning. We were recently awarded the university's Staff Award for the greatest contribution to student experience. And this new curriculum was developed fully with student involvement. They were involved in it was co-created with our students. I'd like to thank you for listening, and I do hope that you get to visit us sometime in Liverpool, because it is a wonderful city, a wonderful university, and it is a wonderful programme. Thank you for listening.